Hi, welcome to my craft room, and this is what we're working on today. Let's get going. Using the embossing folder, Petals-a-Plenty, I am working with the Designer Series in color paper for 2010-2012. Isn't this gorgeous? This folder really looks beautiful. Now everybody does the whole sheet. We want to do something just slightly different, so I'm going to show you how to do that. Before we do that, let's cut out our Big's Die scallop circle. This is the one that is 4 7/16. Isn't that a nice big one? Can you see that? And I just folded my paper over so that I am cutting 2 at once. So I'm going to show you what we're going to do with this. Oh, and this paper, by the way, is the Designer Series Letters from Santa. It's in our big catalog, page 186. We're going to make score lines with our Simply Scored tool. Now, one thing you want to remember with this is our right side. We want those lines, the indentation to come upward. So what we're going to do is do it on the wrong side. And if you don't have one of these, it is awesome. So, oh, let me tell you a little tip. If you take your fingers and rub over your paper, that little bit of oil in your fingers will make this glide just a little bit easier. And we have it. Now let's adhere it onto our paper. Okay, when you're working with something that has been embossed, do not use tape runners on something like that. You want to use a good glue, something that's going to really stick. This multi-purpose glue is awesome. All right, so I have just adhered this onto my brown backing. And now let me show you this. Remember, I cut 2 of these. It's because I am making a bunch of these. I have a card exchange to go to with my group that I belong to with Stampin Up. And so this is going to be my card that I'm exchanging. What I'm doing is, this has 2 sides to it. Isn't this beautiful? And it's kind of a different twist on Christmas to use pink. I like it. What I'm doing is, I want to make sure y'all can see this. I am going into the one where the 2 scallops, the dip, and then going down, and it's like you can't, it seems like you can't go straight because you're going into this. You want to turn it just ever so slightly and go into this indentation here. And that will give you 2. So you will end up with 2 trees by doing that. And they are the same size. If you have any questions, let me know. Okay? Now I'm going to show you how to make the tree. I have one already made. In fact, I have several already made. All right, let's count. So we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I'm going to bend this, except let's do it the other way. I like the green. So do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I'm going to right at that crease. I am bending that. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm bending it again. Now you see your cut edge. Fold it. And then fold this back on itself. Now see, that's not so hard, is it? Isn't that cute? And it's totally dimensional without using dimensions. Isn't that adorable? Okay, so you can see one large scallop will give you 2 trees. But remember that little trick that I told you. I'm going to repeat it, okay? You're going to go into between the 2 scallops. And when that comes, it comes straight across. It's like it wants to go into the middle. You want to turn that to the right ever so slightly and go into the indentation right here. And that will be exactly half. All right, next, I've cut 2 of these out of that strip, and now I can get 3 snowflakes out of this. Let me make sure, I'm making sure there's no light showing in there. And punching. And with this snowflake, I'm going to show you just a real cute little trick I'm going to do here. I don't like to have my stuff look like everybody else's. I like mine slightly different. So instead of just gluing this onto the paper, I'm going to fold the two bottom parts up to match up here. And then this one, I'm going to bend in ever so slightly. And then let's use a little bit of the multi-purpose glue, and we will adhere that up. Doesn't take much, just a little dot. Okay, and I'm going to bend this over first so that it'll get into that glue, get a little bit of it on it. And then I'm taking the two bottom ones, and make sure that you fold them way up into there, okay? Like I had that center part of this snowflake bent in half. And this is going to be our background on our verse. Okay, ready? Let's do the next step. I'm going to show you how to tie a knot that turns out perfect every time and save money on your ribbon. I am using a bottle. This bottle, I measured it, and it measures right around 6 3/8 around, and that would be for a card that is 5 1/4 across. But whoops, I'm not telling you what I'm doing. Let's redo that. I wanted to just kind of give you an idea what I'm doing here. So I'm going to tie it right over left, and then I am going to bring the bottom up over the top, going under that, through that loop, and I am going to hold on to the right tail, and I'm pulling on the left and just kind of holding this to hold it in place, and voila, there we go, a perfect knot. Let it slide off, and then we're going to position this so that it's going to extend off just a little bit so that I have room to glue that. So I've pressed that so that I can see where I need that to cut just a little bit beyond that. And now that will go behind. I'll glue that on the back of both sides of this. You can see that I've adhered this to the back, and it gives just enough to secure it. Hold that down for just a second before you move on. And I used a mini glue dot at the very beginning to right under my knot. Then that way I was able to line that up on each side without any problems. Now we're ready to position our tree. And I cut just a little strip here of the chocolate chip, and I'm going to adhere that on. And I want that to go to the base up. And now let's just put adhesive on the back of this, and that's the only part you're gluing. And it's so cute because that just flips up in the front naturally, and it's not going to cost you extra for postage because there's not going to be the bulk. And hold it down for just a second. And we're ready to move on. We're going to be working with the verse Merry Christmas out of the Contempo Christmas set. This has really a lot of different elements that we could use in other videos. You like it? Very vanilla, soft suede, ink, stamp. And I am going to trim around this. Don't be afraid of hand doing it. I'll tell you some little things that'll make it easier for you. Instead of just making it straight, make it whimsical. Go in and out, make it curve with the curves of your verse. So I'm going in at the Merry, out, in, up, straight across, just to give a little bit of variety. Swerve out. And there we go, all trimmed out. Okay, take in our little snowflake with a twist, and adding this, and I want this to kind of pop up a little bit. So I'm only pressing that down right. I've got my adhesive just in the center of my snowflakes. I've taken my verse that you saw me just trim, and I'm going to now, I put adhesive, the multi-purpose adhesive, just on the lower portion, not at all, none of it up here on the Mary. And I'm just kind of pressing that down, and there we go. One card finished. We're on our way to having a Merry Christmas. Go to my website. I have written out all the information on all the dimensions of the cardstock and all of the products that I've used. So go into my website, go to my blog, and there's where you'll find everything. Happy stamping!